All right, Mr. Wade. So you are now you are now host again. So just make me co-host when you're available too.
Okay, there you go. Hey, good morning.
Morning,
Hey, is that pronounced Ina or Ina?
Ina.
Ina. Okay, welcome, Ina. How are you today?
Okay, how about you? And
I'm doing well.
And where are you at, by the way?
I'm in North Carolina. We're on the
Okay.
coast. How about you?
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
Always have a lot of Michigan folks in the classes. Always glad to see you. Oh, so it's you the same time. Are you in Eastern or Central?
I was just trying to think. I think I don't know.
Is it 9 o'clock?
10 o'clock here.
10 o'clock. Okay. Eastern. That's the same as me. So not too early. Okay. Some other people coming in here.
Still coming in, yeah.
Hey, Mary, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, hi, Mary. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, Joyce. Good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you. Same here.
Welcome for joining us first thing in the morning here. Hi, Lynette, you there?
Hello, Red. Yes, I'm here.
There you are. Okay. Hey, good to have you back again. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good to be here. Thank you.
Just
Right,
want to be
well-
invited to this class.
What was that, Joyce?
I said, I don't know about this class. I want to learn. I'm just, trying to get some insight.
Okay. Yeah, this is a app that most people don't know much about. So that's kind of the assumption here, is that most people don't have any experience with it. So we're going to start from the scratch.
That sounds good.
All right, well, welcome everyone. I will be here this morning with Mr. Wade for the full hour. I'll be his TA. So if any of you do have any technical questions and need any assistance, you can message me in the chat. My name will be listed as Lina at GSU Support, or you can unmute your microphone before the session begins, and I'd be happy to assist you all.
Thanks, Lina. Appreciate your help. So we should have a few more people joining us, so we're going to wait here and give them a couple more minutes. But while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and start getting things organized for us. So I'm going to go
Red,
ahead.
could I ask a question?
Sure, Lynette.
Are you gonna come? Okay, I moved from Android to iPhone and I lost all my messages in, I think it's WhatsApp or whatever it is. And I'm told it's a Facebook, no, WeChat, right?
Yeah, so you lost your WhatsApp messages?
Yeah, when I transferred from Android to Facebook, it's so I don't know if during the class you can let us know how to retrieve it, if it is retrievable at all.
Yeah, you're going to probably have to reach out to your Facebook owns WhatsApp, but WhatsApp, I think, has their own support group because it should still be there. It should have all been, as long as you use the same username and password on your iPhone that you used on your Android, it should have all copied
Yeah.
over. So best thing would be to call support there at WhatsApp because I have no idea what's happened. It should have copied over because I've moved from phone to phone before and everything came over with it.
Do you have a connection that I can call, a number I can call?
I don't have a number. Should be able to just go to the website and again, that's after class. If I get a chance, I'll look and put it in the email that's coming out after class. But if not, you can just go to www.whatsapp.com and it should be listed there. It should be a link to their support there as well.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Sure. Hey, Mary Alice, did you come in while we were waiting here? Can you hear us, Mary Alice? If you can, you're muted. Want to just make sure your mic is working. I don't know. Maybe Lina, can you reach out and chat and see if she's having mic problems? So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get a couple of things organized. I'm going to move your pictures over to my other monitor so I can see everyone over here on my side monitor. And there you all are. And you should be seeing my my slides here. And since we've got a fairly small group today, I will, I'm not going to mute everyone, but if I start picking up any background noise or echoes or anything, I will mute during the class. So it's just a good idea to check your microphone before you ask a question or make a comment. See if you're muted. If you are, just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question or make your comment. You don't have to raise your hand or anything. Just unmute and ask away. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat as well. So if you do have microphone issues or you need to reach us via the chat for whatever reason, that is now open as well. And Lina will be helping to monitor that chat and make sure I don't miss anything in there. But if your mic is working, do just go ahead and ask your question out loud. That way everyone else can hear your question and I will hear your questions as well. So that's the best way to get to me, but we do have the chat there open as well. Let me see. I see Javonda. I see you've come in. Welcome. Like she's still connecting to her audio. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We usually give the first 5 minutes or so to give people a chance to get signed in, especially early in the morning. We'll probably have a few more people join us mid-stride, but we want to go ahead and get started to make sure we have time for everybody to get all their questions answered. So this is Messenger Rooms and Facebook's video chatting app. I do want to welcome you all to the class. Hope you enjoy it. My name is Wade Yarbrough, and I'll be the guide for your class this morning. A little bit about my background. I'm from a very small town in Tennessee called Mason. It's about 35 miles out of Memphis, a small farming community. I have my PhD in experimental psychology and have taught psychology at a number of different colleges. But most of my career was spent installing and training users on healthcare information systems. So I've done a lot of adult education, but I'm really loving teaching you get set up mainly because people like you that are in the class, because you're interested in being in the class, not because your employer or someone else made you take the class. And that's what we try to do at Get Set Up, is to create an environment where you can take classes you're interested in, but be in a class with other people interested in the same topic. You can hear each other's questions. You can ask questions of the guide. We try to make it a very safe, comfortable, interactive environment. The session is being recorded, and if you would like a copy of the recording, you can send an email to help@getsetup.io. I'm going to put that in the chat as well in case you don't have that email address already in your email contacts. You can copy and paste it from the chat. We're also live streaming the class this morning, so we do want to welcome anyone joining us by live stream. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoy the class as well. But I do want to stress that the only way to get the full Get Set Up experience where you can interact with the other learners and ask questions of the guide is to go to our website and register for the class. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any of the products that we train on. We are purely trainers. So what we're going to be talking about today is Messenger Rooms. It's one of Facebook's newer products. So by the end of the question, you should know what Facebook Messenger Rooms is and why you may want to use it instead of some of the other alternatives, how to create a room, how to invite people into your room, and how to manage the room. So we're going to go over some background material first, since there are a lot of questions about most people have about what it is and why should I care. So Facebook Rooms or Messenger Rooms, when it first came out, I think it was called Facebook Rooms. Now it is called Messenger Rooms, but Facebook owns Messenger. But Messenger Rooms is a video calling feature, and it was introduced really to compete with Zoom, Skype, and Google Meets, which are other video conferencing, video calling applications. A few facts about Messenger Rooms. Anyone can join, even if they don't have a Facebook account. So that is important. You don't have to be on Facebook or Messenger to join a Facebook room meeting. You do have to have a Facebook account if you want to create a room, but you can join a room meeting that someone else set up, even if you don't have a Facebook account. And it can be used from pretty much any of the Facebook products at this point. Facebook, either the web version or the app version, Messenger, web version or app version, Instagram, and WhatsApp all have access to Rooms. So that is one of the nice things about Room. If you use any or all of those apps, you can get to Rooms from any of them. So it's very easy to access it. And as I'm going through the material, just if you have questions or if I go over something too quickly, please just go ahead and unmute and ask your question. Most people know about Zoom. Everybody here does, obviously, because you're using Zoom right now. So there are a lot of questions about what's the difference between Messenger Rooms and Zoom. And Zoom was designed more for business meetings and informal training. It was primarily a corporate tool prior to COVID. It's now being used by lots of individuals, but its history and its background was for businesses, for corporate meetings, conventions, conferences, formal training classes like this. It has a lot of advanced meeting controls and tools like whiteboards and breakout rooms, and advanced control of attendees like waiting rooms. So it has a lot of features that you need for these business applications. Messenger Rooms was designed really for individuals to use to stay in touch. So it was not designed for the same purpose. It was really designed to be easier to use and to be used more for social things like happy hours, game nights, birthday parties, those types of events. And one difference is also is that people can drop in and leave the room whenever they're ready, just like somebody coming over to your house. So I think the analogy they're using for rooms and why they call it a room is to basically saying we're going to be having an open house for the Saturday afternoon from 3 to 5. Stop by, say hi whenever you have time. Instead of doing that in person, Messenger Rooms let you do that virtually. You can set up a room and just say, hey, I'm going to be hanging out for from 2 to 4. Stop in and say hi if you have time. People can come in, they can leave, they can come back. So it's really more designed to be a social thing as opposed to a formal meeting. Questions about kind of some of the differences, especially in the backgrounds of Zoom versus Messenger? In terms of some of the more specifics, comparing again Rooms to Zoom, maximum attendees, Zoom has more attendees available, and this is with the free accounts. 100 with Zoom, 50 with Rooms, but for most social events, you're probably not going to have more than 50 people anyway, so that's probably not a major limitation. A nice thing about Rooms is there's no time limitation. With Zoom, with the free account, your session stops at 40 minutes. You can have it on all day. You can have it on for multiple days with Rooms. There is no time restrictions. There's no required app to join. You can just join via the web. Whereas with Zoom, you don't have to sign up for a Zoom account, but you do have to install the Zoom app on your computer or phone to access Zoom as a participant. Both allow you to share your screen. But again, we mentioned some of those advanced features that Zoom has. Zoom has things like whiteboards and break rooms and waiting rooms that Messenger does not have. So some of the scenarios where you might want to lean toward Zoom versus Room, there's no reason you have to pick one over the other. And we also mentioned Google Meet, which is another similar product. So there's a lot of products out there in this virtual meeting space right now. So how do you create a room using the Messenger app? So I stated that there's a number of different ways to access rooms. And so I'm going to focus primarily on using it via the Messenger app because since it is Messenger Rooms, that was the primary area that Facebook was thinking about when they created Messenger Rooms. And I'll show you how to access it from some of the other apps as well. But this is the main thing they intended it to use for. Is there anyone that does not have Messenger? If you don't have Messenger, you can still watch because it looks almost identical no matter which way you're getting to it. If you get to it via Facebook instead of Messenger, it looks almost the same. But there's a few things that you can do in Messenger that you can't. Some slight differences among the different ways. So, but we're going to start with using Messenger. And let me move my slides over a little bit and bring my iPhone out here so that I can get into Messenger. So this is Messenger. Again, Messenger is owned by Facebook, as is WhatsApp and as is Instagram. They are all owned by Facebook. So I'm just going to tap Messenger. And it takes me to the chats tab. There's two tabs here, the chats and the people. We're going to be working within chats. And right up at the very top of the screen here, it has create room. So I'm going to click on create a room. And this screen, you can, you're starting your room at this point. Right in the middle, it has edit. So I'm going to click into edit first. And this is where you can start setting up your room. First is who can join the room. And there's two choices here. One, you can let anybody that has a link join the room automatically. And this is for people that may or may not have Facebook or Messenger accounts. So really, literally anybody with the link can join. And the other option is to say only people you approve can join the room. And what happens there is that if you have this setting set, if someone wants to join your room, it pops up that someone wants to come into the room, you have to approve them and let them in. So it works a little bit like the waitlist does in Zoom. If you're familiar with the waitlist feature in Zoom, it's not quite the same, but same idea. If you pick this option, you decide who can get in on a person-by-person basis. If you select this one, anybody can come into the room if they've got a copy of the link or if you invited them personally. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. So here's the room activity, it's called. And if I click on that, you can pick, what are you setting the room up for? Is it for a social happy hour? Is it a dance party? Are you just going to be around all day? So stop in whenever you have time. But this doesn't change anything about how it works. It just kind of sets a tone for people as to what's going on. I mean, it's a lunch club, so you're going to get together during lunch, or you're inviting family members. So that's what, you don't have to pick one of these. You can just leave it as your name. If I don't pick something, it would just be called Wade's Room. But just for fun, we'll call this a get together.
Well, my daughter, she set up this thing called Sip and Talk. And she has Messenger, because I don't really know too much about it. And I have, Facebook, so she get to talk to me. So she'll connect the family in California, whatever, in New York or whatever. And we have Sip and Talk on Messenger. So
Yep.
how does she do that?
There's probably one down here that's called Sip and Talk. If not, you can create your own custom ones.
I think she did it. She created her own.
You probably just click new here and created something called Sip and Talk. It really doesn't change how it works. It's just what the label is when you look at the room. Because I could have 3 different rooms. I could have a get together room, a happy hour room, and a coffee chat room. So it just is kind of a label you can add to your room. It also kind of lets people know what's the tone here. So if it's dance party, you're going to probably be up and dancing. Whereas if it's coffee chat, then you're just going to be sitting around talking. So it sort of gives people an expectation of why you're creating the room.
Okay, the app. Okay, I see how she do it now.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
she probably just clicked this new and created one called, but these are predefined ones, but you can make one that says anything you want it to say.
All right.
Right.
Thank
And then you can open it immediately, or you can schedule it for a specific time. So if you want it to be, it could be your Sunday afternoon. Back before COVID, people would get together on Sunday afternoon after church for a couple of hours. You might want to have an after church room. And so you would go ahead and schedule this to be, and you can set a start date and time. So you might want to make that be Sunday. Can you see? It's a little hard to see down the bottom of the screen here. Let me pull this up a little bit. There you go. So make it be Sunday at 2 p.m. So that might be our Sunday after church get together. So that's now set for that time. So you can, and so that's how you do your settings. You can go back in and change those at any time. So now it's get together, it's the activity. I've got my time, and I've got my in-room chat allowed and screen sharing allowed. Questions about any of those? Okay. So once I've done my setup, this is the invite screen. And this is where I can invite people. So there's 2 ways to invite people. I can go in and explicitly just select people here that I want to invite. If I want to invite my wife to this, and then I could just scroll through and pick people out of here from my friends list. Or I can search for people by name. And so this is how you can invite friends from Facebook. Now, if you don't use Facebook, or if you want to invite somebody that's not a friend on Facebook, you would come up here and copy a link. And I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to click this little share icon. And then I can send that link any way I want to send it, through Messenger. You can send it via email. So if you want to just mail it, you got a bunch of people and you want to mail them a link, you can just go into Gmail. And it's going to send them this link in the email. So I can send this to, I'll send it to myself, but. So they'll get an email with this link on it, and it works just like Zoom does. They would open that email, click on that link, and it would take them into your room. I'm going to send that. And again, you could include as many people as you want to in here. If you've got distribution lists, you could do that. So I'm going to go ahead and send that email. So I've now emailed a link to some people. I've picked some people down here. Questions about how that's working? No. And then if I want to go ahead and send this, I would just click this invite. And that's now invited that person. Now, all right, so that's how you create a room and set it up. Now I'm back at my main screen here, my chat screen. You know, this is where we started when we clicked create a room. If you notice right beside there, if you have one or more rooms, it has your rooms. And so I can click on there and it'll show me my rooms. And you can see I've got a happy hour room that I created yesterday. And I've got that get together, which is coming up Sunday. It's not open yet because I put a start time on that one. This one, I didn't put a start time, so it's open. So it shows you the different rooms, so you can have more than one room. That's kind of why it has these activities, you know, what's going to be happening at each one of the rooms. Now from here, I can manage these meetings. So I can go into this one and click the triple dot. And if I want to check and see, okay, who did I invite? I can click here to see who's invited. And I only invited my wife to that one. This is one I was just playing with to get things ready for the class today. I'm gonna click the triple dot again. I can copy the link. If I want to send the link to some other people, I can just copy the link. And it's now put it on my clipboard. So if I wanted to go in and post it on Facebook and send it via Facebook to maybe people in a group in Facebook or just all my friends on Facebook, I can post that link. I can edit the room. So if I want to go and make some changes to it, I can edit it. This will take me back to the screen where we were before. So I can, right now I've got only people I approve can show up. I could change it to say anyone with the link. I could change the activity name. I could schedule it for a time instead of leaving it open. So I'm going to click on the back here and go back out of settings. I'm going to click the triple dot again. Or I could end the room. So as long as the room is out there, and depending on what the settings are, anyone can come into the room. And once I end the room, no one can enter it anymore, and it takes it off my list of rooms. And I can just cancel here to leave this option. Is this starting to make sense? Questions? And okay, let's keep going. I think it's right there. Okay, so if I want to start the meeting, I can show you how I can start a meeting. So let's say I want to go ahead and start this one because this one is available. This one actually isn't available until Sunday, but this one's already open and ready. So I can just click on the room and it opens the room up. So I'm now in the room, just like a Zoom session with me, the only person in the room. This will show me the list of people I've invited by name. And if I wanted to call them and say, hey, I'm in the room waiting for you, where are you? I can click call and it will send them a messenger phone call. And then when they answer the call, they can click a link to go ahead and join the room if they want to. And there's several other things I can do from here, even without anybody in the call. I can change my camera. So this switches it from the front camera to the rear camera. I can turn my camera off. And you can, I can't do this till I get into the meeting, But so normally I could just be here waiting, or I could start contacting people and say, hey, I'm in the room. Are you ready to meet? Once you're into the room, you can also use what are called, you can set up virtual backgrounds, just like you do with Zoom, if you want to have a virtual background. And it has something that Zoom doesn't have, which again kind of shows it's more of a social thing, is you can, and I'm going to X out of here for now. You can use effects, and these are effects. So you can do things like put on rabbit ears, hats, different types of backgrounds to make it more of a fun thing as opposed to a business serious type of thing. So those are effects. I'll show you how to get the effects in just a minute. I click the X here, and I've got two options at this point. I can leave the room because I come in, I looked around, nobody's here yet. I can leave. When somebody shows up, it will actually notify me that someone is in your room, and I could go back and rejoin the room. So leaving the room leaves the room still open. I just leave it. Whereas if I'm in the room, it will delete that room. It's now gone from my list. No one can join it. So I'm just going to say leave. I want to leave it out there. There's nobody in, so I'm going to leave it. So it's still here. So I'm going to show you how it works when you actually are doing a meeting, and but I can't really do it in the middle of a Zoom session because Zoom and Room don't play well together. So I've got some screenshots to show you how it works from here. So say I close the room, and all of a sudden my wife goes to my room. It'll let me know, so I can go into the room and I'll see this this screen that Karen Michelle is requesting to join my room. I have it set up. Let me go back in again just to make sure. This is one of the more important things. Make sure you get this. So I'm going to go here and go into edit room again. Since I have it set, only people I approve can join the room. That's why she shows up requesting to come into the room. I can click the check mark and say, okay, come on in, or I can say, nope, I don't want you coming in my room. So I can delete them, not let them in the room. So if you pick this one, you control on a person by person who's getting in. If I select this, they would just come right in. Anybody that has a link or that I've invited personally can just come into the room. Questions? Does that make sense? Back out of there. So this is how it looks like when you're first getting started, when you open up the room. And you got several options here. So this, in this case, I had to take this picture. I didn't have any, my wife wasn't here, so I couldn't have her. Normally I would see her picture. This is just the wall behind me. But normally you would see the person that's in the room. So this is the screen you get once at least one person is in the room with you. So normally I would see her picture here. But it now opens up some other things. Here's those effects that I was showing you where you can do all these different effects. That's what this little smiley does. It takes you into the effects. It also is where you can do your virtual backgrounds. So these are things that will configure what you look like. You can turn on the chat. It has a chat, just like Zoom does. This takes a picture. So if you want to take a picture of everybody that's in the room, you can just click here and it does a screenshot and saves it to your camera roll. This is a way to get that link again. So if I'm in the middle of the meeting and I want to send the link to somebody that I forgot to invite, I can grab a link here. This flips the camera again. This turns my mic on and off. This turns my, this is where I can leave the room. And again, if you have questions, ask questions. Let me go back. If I pull this up, you can see there's a little bar here. That means, you know, put your finger on there and pull it up, and there's other options below. So I took my finger and I pulled this up, and here's the next screenshot. So now I've pulled that up to here. And you can still see that row that was down there before. This was all you could see before I pulled it up. So you pull it up and you get more options. I can turn my speaker. I can change my speaker. So I can, maybe I've got it on the speaker and I want to turn it back to phone only. And I can turn my camera off here, just like you can in Zoom. If you want to turn your camera off for a couple of minutes, you can do that. I can look and see, and this is the person that's created the room, has more options than someone that's just in the room. So I can see the people in the room. Now everybody can see the people in the room, but when I click this, it brings up this screen. I can not only see the people in the room, but I can kick somebody out of the room. So if somebody shows up that was invited, but they show up drunk and disorderly, you can say, Uncle Joe, you've been drinking again, and you can take Uncle Joe out of the meeting, because he tends to do that sometimes. So that's what the people does. It lets you take people out of the meeting, or you can mute him. You may want to leave Uncle Joe in there, but you can turn his mic off if he's being inappropriate, or you just kick him totally out if he doesn't settle down. Settings takes me into this screen that we've been in several times already. It takes me into this screen. So if I want to change my mind and say, okay, I'm just going to let everybody in now, I'm not going to do the approval, or maybe I started out letting everybody in, I'm saying, wait a minute, too many people are showing up, I'm going to change it. So anybody else that wants to join, I'm going to let them in one at a time. So that lets you get you back into these settings. And you can see there's more down here. So I took another picture, another screenshot where you can see what's down here. So below Watch Together, which is as far as I can see over here, is where you can share your screen. So just like I'm sharing my screen now, so you can see it, you can share your screen. So maybe you've got some pictures on your phone, you want to show it to your family. You can say, hang on, let me share my screen and show you some great pictures I just took. So you click share your screen, and now everybody can see your phone and see the pictures you've taken. So it's very nice. We use it for teaching classes, so it's part of Zoom, but there's lots of reasons, and pictures is probably the main thing, but maybe somebody has something else they want to show everybody. And you can allow other people to share their screens as well. So if someone else in the meeting has something they want to share, you can let them share their screen as well. And you've already seen this screen, but this is where if I get ready to leave the meeting, I have the option, since I own the meeting, to either in the room for everybody, and which will basically kick everybody out of the room and and close the room permanently, or I can just leave. And if I leave, the other people in the room can keep talking. So again, maybe it's a family get together, but I've got to run, but you want to let the rest of the family members stay and talk to each other. You can do that. When you leave, it does lock the room, so no one else can join the room once you leave, but the people that are already there can continue and talk after you've left. Okay, so that's basically setting up a room, managing your own room. Any questions about creating and managing a room? So let's show you how you can join someone else's room. That's easier, but there's a couple of ways to join someone else's room. So if someone invites you, like I showed you, I clicked and invited my wife. If someone else has invited you to a room, you'll get, oops, I lost my phone here. Give me just a second. Move it back over here. You'll get a chat message. And so my wife has a room open, and I invited myself to just show you how that looks. So here's Karen Michelle's room. That's my wife. And she had a room, and she's calling hers just Karen Michelle's room. She didn't give it a name. So if you don't want to give it a name, you don't have to. Like I have mine called Happy Hour, and but you can just leave it your room. But all I have to do is click here, and I can join her room. If she's in the room, I'll just pop in. If it's anyone, if she's got it set that she has to approve, she'll see a screen like this saying that I'm waiting and want to join the room, and she would have to let me in. If she wasn't there, when I get to there, it'll send her a message and call her phone saying someone's in your room, so that she can go into the room and decide to let me in or not. So it's very simple to join someone else's room. Now, if I wasn't using Messenger and I got the invitation by email, let me quickly go into my Yahoo account because I just sent a, actually, I'm not sure if my Yahoo Mail is set up on this one. Let me see. It's not. Hang on a second. Let me change browsers real quick. I want to show you the invitation that I sent. So here's my Yahoo Mail. And so I invited myself to the meeting. So if I wanted to join the meeting and I wasn't using and didn't even have a Facebook account or a Messenger account, I could just come here and click and it would take me into the message. If I have Messenger, it would open Messenger. If I don't have Messenger, it would just open a tab in my browser and take me into the generic version of Messenger. So you don't have to have Messenger or Facebook to join a meeting. So if you're doing a family get together and a couple of people in your family don't use Facebook, you can still invite them. They would just click from the email as opposed to getting an invite over here in Messenger. So multiple different ways to invite people. Questions? Everybody's quiet. Hopefully it means everything's making sense to you. There's like all types of communication, especially when it's a live video session, there's always privacy concerns. So some of the privacy concerns and how Facebook has addressed them is you can lock your room once it begins. So if you lock the room, then no one else can join the room unless you let them in. The room creator can remove anyone. I showed you how to remove somebody. You can leave yourself from the room. So you'll have that same leave option that I showed you. So you can leave whenever you want to leave. So if you're not feeling comfortable or you're just tired and ready to go, you don't have to wait for the person that started the room to do it. Just like Zoom, you can leave Zoom at any time. You can leave room at any time. For anybody that's Facebook people, if you block someone on Facebook or Messenger, they won't be able to join your room. Even if you've said anyone that has a link, if someone you've blocked has gotten a link, they can't get into your room. So if you block someone on Facebook, it includes any rooms that you create on Facebook or Messenger. If you block someone's messages or calls on Messenger, same thing, you'll be notified that they're about to join a room. Well, okay, this is a little different. Okay, so if you block someone, you'll be notified if you're about to join a room with a person that you've blocked. Let me say this differently, make it easier to say. So say I'm getting ready to join Karen Michelle's room. And when I click to join, if there's someone that I've blocked and that person is already in her room, it'll tell me John is in her room and you have blocked John. So it gives me the option to say, okay, I'm not going to go in there because I don't want to be in the same room as John. We don't get along. So it basically warns me that someone I've blocked their messages is in the room. If you block their account, then it would be the same thing, because if you block someone, they can't join your room. But now I'm a person joining her room. She didn't block them, but I did. So that's why they're in there. But it warns me you're about to enter a room with somebody that you don't want to be around. Does that make sense? I didn't explain that very well, but. And if you're logged into Facebook or Messenger, when you join a room, you'll see the Facebook profile name and profile picture of the people that are in the room. So again, that's that integration with Facebook. Let's see, how are we doing for time? We got a few minutes left. Let me just show you quickly how you can get in from some of the other Facebook tools in case you don't use Messenger. And if you don't use Messenger, you probably use Facebook. So let me just go into Facebook quickly and show you how to do the same thing from Facebook on the web. That's the other way that a lot of people use it. And if you go into Facebook, here's rooms. And it looks and acts very similarly. Here's a room that I've already created. I can go into that room and set that one up, or I can create a whole new room here. And it looks very much like what we already saw. I can give the room a name. So this is all these other options that we saw before. Happy hour. So I can call this one family time. I can set a start time now or later. This is an option you only have if you create it on Facebook. You don't have this option if you create it in Messenger. This says visible to all my friends. So if I select this and then create the room, any of my friends are automatically invited. I don't have to go in and manually invite them. They can all see that room and they can come in and drop in. And I would just click create the room to create that room. I'm going to turn that off and say create the room. And then I can, then I can go ahead and send invitations. I can copy the link, and I can join the room myself. I'm not going to do that because I think it's going to mess up if I try and join this room using my computer in the middle of a Zoom session. But if I clicked here, it would just open the session just like we saw with Messenger. So here's that new room I created. So I can join that. Here's another room I've created. I can join this. If I just want to check and see if any of my friends have a room open, if it says say hi, that means they don't have a room open. But if it says join, then it means they've got a room open that I can go into. It's what this bottom line is telling me. And I think it would normally put them over here on this far left side if there's any. So it would look, it'll say join like this, but this is my room. But if James Sennett had a room open and I'm invited to the room because maybe he said all of his friends are invited and I'm one of his friends, it would say join here. So I could just click it to join that room. And if you use any of the other apps, let me just very quickly show you those as well. If you are an Instagram person, this is Instagram. And from Instagram, if you want to create or join a room, you just click on this icon at the upper right, and you'll notice this is the Messenger icon. And click rooms. And here's where I could create a room using Instagram. And here it takes me to the room that I've already got. I can invite people, I can share. So at this point, it looks just like it did in Messenger because it is the same screen as it was in Messenger. I can join, I can invite, I can copy the links, etc. And then the other one, somebody I think it was Lynette, is using WhatsApp. So if you use WhatsApp, you can get to rooms from WhatsApp as well. It's different between whether you're on an iPhone or a Android. That's one of the problems with WhatsApp. It looks very different depending on if you're iPhone or Android. But from an iPhone, just go into WhatsApp, tap the chats, and then you can basically open any of these. I'll go into my wife's here. Tap the plus, and then here's room. It's a little more convoluted getting into it from WhatsApp, but now it takes me to the same thing it looked like pretty much from Messenger. So they're really just different ways to get into Messenger from here. It's going to look and work very much like it did before. That's how you can get to it from any of the other Facebook apps. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, or Messenger. All right. We are just about out of time. I think that's everything I was going to show you. Any last questions anyone has? Okay. All right.
No, that was very, very informative. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you for all attending. Hope you learned some things about Messenger and try it out. It's free, so there's no reason not to try it out. And or if you get invited to a Messenger room that someone else has created, you'll know how to get into it and experience it. A couple of related classes. There's a Facebook groups class that tells you how to use Facebook to find groups that you may be interested in joining. And there's also a sharing photographs on Instagram. That's one of the other Facebook apps that I showed you how to get into rooms from Instagram. This class goes into more about Instagram. So in closing, after class, you'll get an email with several sections in it. The first section will be a notes section, which will have some additional links telling you more about rooms in case you want to do a little bit of independent research. If you enjoyed the class, you can recommend the class to a friend via a link in Facebook or send a link via email. There'll be links to 3 other classes that you might want to take. If you click on the link, it'll take you directly to the registration page for that class. If you click Give Feedback, it will open our feedback form. Very quick and easy, only 2 questions. How do you rate the class? 1 to 5 stars. How do you rate the guide? 1 to 5 stars. And hit Done. The last link is View Schedule. And if you click View Schedule, it will take you to our website where you can book another class. A couple of things I'll show you in case you haven't found them on our website. We've been making quite a few changes lately. If you click View My Schedule right in the center of the page here, it will take you to all the classes you've booked. When it's time to join a class, you can join from here. You don't have to keep the emails if it's easier to join from here. If you have something come up and you need to cancel a class, you can cancel from here. Just click Cancel, give a reason why you're canceling, and submit. That will take it off of your schedule. It also frees up that slot for someone else. If you are looking for a class, maybe you're looking for a WhatsApp class, you can just type a keyword up here, start typing WhatsApp, and you can get to that class. Get Started with WhatsApp is our intro class for WhatsApp. You can click here and it'll bring you to this screen. If you ever see this notify me, what that means is that the class is not on the 2-week schedule. We only book about 2 weeks out. So it's a recurring class. It usually is given every 3 weeks. So next week it'll be on the schedule, but instead of you having to come back and keep checking to see if it's on the schedule or not, if you click Notify Me, we'll send you an email as soon as it's on the schedule. And that email will have a link right to the registration page, so you don't have to keep checking. Last thing I'll show you is that if there's guides that you like the guides and you want to see what other classes they're teaching, instead of typing a class name in the search, you can type the guide's name in the search. And that will show you their classes. So these are my classes. This is the class we're in right now. It'll show you the other classes I'm going to be teaching for the next 2 weeks. If you want to register for any of those classes, you can just click on the book and it'll take you to the registration page. Any questions about registering for classes or navigating our website? Okay, all right. If not, I do want to thank you for attending the class. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you again in one of my classes really soon. Thanks, everybody, and have a wonderful day. Bye now.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks, Lynette. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.